Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Pulse. This next guest we have on the show is from the state of Ohio. She is a financial professional. I'd like to welcome to the show Bobbie Freitag, everybody. Welcome, Bobbie Freitag. Have a seat. All right. Excellent. So Bobbie, you are a financial professional. So that means that when it comes to retirement planning, when it comes to the people that they need to go to manage money, you are the go-to person. So how did you get into that field? What inspired you?
That's a great question. I was inspired to become a financial advisor just because that's what America works on capital.
Yeah, it does.
And so I decided I wanted to be a part of that. And then once I got into the industry and there was more to it, which was, what I mean by that is baby boomers are expiring. Not expiring, but retiring. And with that includes the financial advisors that are out there. So there's actually 10,000 less advisors today than there was 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
But the need for financial advice is greater than
it is.
Because of tax law complication, as well as volatility in markets. People need to understand these things, and there's a huge need and desire for our advice.
And that's the thing, Bobbie, that I learned about capital. When I got out of the military, I didn't know that much about credit. I didn't know about, and I was taking on an endeavor. So I had a hard time finding people like yourself to help me get through that. I took on more, I think what they call it, leverage in the financial market. And when I had put on more business debt, I had needed so much advice that I didn't know who to come to. So tell us how people and what your mission is and how people can find you if they need that financial advice, especially when it comes to managing capital.
Well, actually, I have a website. It's www.bobbiefreitag.com. Very original, just my name. So you can set an appointment with me from there. And other than that, I do work in the local communities doing the retirement planning for nonprofit organizations. So I'm always in the area anyway. But the best thing to do is either to call me, set an appointment time, or like I said, go to my website and schedule an appointment from there.
Now, do you charge for your services? Most financial advisors do charge a fee. Do you charge for your financial services?
Well, I am licensed too. But what I believe in is I believe in earning the right to do business with clients through education. So what I do is I figure that I will educate enough people and that will result in helping them and helping me. So I do not do fee-based planning.
Excellent. People who what I've noticed, especially about communities, like when you have a gap, especially in the United States, and you said it yourself, a country that was built off of capital. And I was doing some research on the founding fathers, and it talks about how they themselves were not able to manage their debt as well. So when you see, especially what I always look at is the knowledge gap. You're able to diversify and to see where people are having problems, especially when it comes to people, because Americans are very giving. We're very supportive. In an environment where people have to say no sometimes to be able to manage their debt, how can, especially, what strategy can people use in a new environment to where there's so much business out there, especially when it comes to economics, when investing, like when you talk about smart investments, like when we talk about where they invest their time and where they invest their money, how do you mentor them in that aspect of that?
Well, the number one key in finance is paying yourself first. So what I mean by that is, you have to have a retirement plan. They say that the best retirement question is asked 40 years prior to retirement. And so what that means is having the conversation when you first get your job. And, a lot of the pain that I help with is people who haven't. And so they're in the middle of their career, or, they're closer to retiring and now they're questioning. And the people who are in that situation will tell all of the new hires, you need to do this now. So they then become advocates for me because they realize that they should have done it earlier.
Do you think, now when it comes to ethics, do you think ethics has a lot to do with retirement planning or financial independence or financial success? When I say that, I mean in the sense of people knowing where ethically to channel their money, whether it's the community, or whether it's junk food, or whether it's like politics. Now, ethics, when it comes to ethical decisions, do you think ethics has a lot to do with financial success?
Well, in that respect, I would say the answer to that is budgeting.
Yeah.
So you have to have a budget. With your budget, that's one of the first things of financial planning, is finding out and knowing where your money's going.
Yeah.
So absolutely, that is very important, because without knowing where it's going, you can't really figure out what your short-term, midterm, and long-term goals. Then from there, you can't really assess anything.
Now, you are a professional. You're a professional. So what are your ultimate goals for the future, as like when you have a mission statement, when you have that mission statement before we go into the rest of the show and close out? What is your mission statement as a financial advisor? Where do you like to see your clients at once they come and embrace you with their presence?
Well, my mission statement and where I see my clients at, I guess they can correlate, but it's actually very rewarding. My job is very rewarding. At the end of the day, when I'm thanked and people are almost like in tears because they now have a clue and they now understand how retirement's going to look, that is very rewarding and satisfying enough. But as far as a mission statement goes, I would say to personalize strategies.
Yeah.
Because everybody is in a different situation. So personalizing would be my #1 mission.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, we come back. We're going to have more with Bobbie Freitag. We're going to close out the show. I want to thank you so much for coming on. We'll be right back here on The Pulse with Brian West.
Just like you made a choice to get this coin, you will have to make a choice to pass life into this world.
Boys only want one thing. They're trouble, I tell you. Trouble, do you hear me? Do you understand?
We have no hope, Precious. Look at us. We're both high-class girls with little-class lives.
Precious, be encouraged. Your life is about to change.
No, I didn't get married yet. I just woke up and it was gone.
Do you read it?
It seems you're pregnant, young lady.
I'm pregnant, doctor. There's a hurricane! There's one moving on us! You're out of control!
If I let you in, you must undo this mistake.
Even if you are pregnant, I'm going to throw you down the flight of freaking stairs if I got to get rid of this baby.
Okay, Walter. Okay, I'll get rid of the baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Pulse with me, your host, Brian West. We have a lovely, lovely guest, Bobbie Freitag. I thank you so much, Bobbie, for coming on. Now, we were talking about the, I think before we went on break, we were talking about the knowledge gap and how when you make the transition from the when you make the transition into the professional world. So now that you are in the professional world and you are being able to make financial decisions, especially leadership decisions, how, now, before we close out, what would you like to, from yourself, especially when it comes to clients? What would you like for them to do when they come see you? Would you recommend them look at some terminology, or, I mean?
That's a great question. First of all, the best thing that you can do to prepare for a meeting is to gather the information that you can.
Yeah.
And whether that be statements of things you already have, Social Security benefit statements, like an estimation of benefits from your pension,
Yeah.
those kind of documents, even your taxes from the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Those will help us assess things and know where we can help you.
Yeah, yeah. And people don't understand about when you're stepping into, and that means you've practiced this fluently. So there are some things that you may not know, and a lot of people don't understand about professionals, especially that, because there are some things that we can't possibly know everything. So how do you, before we close out real quick, how do you get around that really fast?
Well, absolutely. I would just say I don't know the answer to that
You're just
question.
a person, just like everybody else.
I'd be glad to find it out,
Yeah.
and I'll get back to you. And I try to get back to them within either 4 hours,
Yeah.
or schedule an appointment within 4 hours of that time.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I thank Bobbie Freitag. She is a local. You're local, right? So definitely give her a call. Give her, if you're having financial problems, if you need financial advice, she is the woman to go to. I'll probably be calling her up myself and getting some advice for myself, because when it comes to money, I'll fly off a building to see things work. So you know what I'm saying? So thank you so much, Bobbie. You've been a big contribution to the show, and I'm sure you are inspiring a lot of females out there to get into your field. I want to thank Wayne, the music maker. We'll be right back in the Pulse next week, everybody. You're in the Pulse with your host, Brian West. We'll be right back next week, everybody.